Hi everyone. We are waiting for 2 more minutes before starting. Hope you're all doing well for the second workshop of the week. Okay. So I think we're gonna start. Thank you all for being here today. We're glad to organize this second workshop of the week with Maxime and Cassandre from their society. Just a reminder, this is a workshop in the context of the hackathon that we are organizing with IXEC about privacy in DeFi. So today we're going to talk about pitching session because, as you may know, we are organizing this pitch together with iExec and 50 partners. I'm Richard. I lead the Web2 department of 50 partners, which is an hybrid model between an accelerator and a VC fund, but we already spoke about that yesterday. As you may know, this hackathon, the outcome of this hackathon is potentially to pitch in front of a big audience at the Élysée Lincoln, which is a former cinema in Paris next to Les Champs-Élysées. And moreover, you also have to upload a video presenting your project for this hackathon. We thought that was quite important to have a workshop about how to pitch your project, how to pitch it in front of a big audience, and how to present it in a video. So that's why we decided to propose to Maxime and Cassandre from their society. For the context, we are working with their society for a long time to help our entrepreneurs to take the floor during big events. That's why I will let the floor to Maxime and Cassandre. If you have any more questions about the hackathon or about 50 partners or iExec, feel free to send us a message or to ask your questions after the presentation. And of course, I know that you are many builders on the Luma. So please do not forget to register as well on the Dora Hacks, which is the right place to have all the information and also to see the ideas that you can build, but also all the team player, all the team you can join for this hackathon. Thank you for your attention. I'll let the floor to Maxime and Cassandre, and feel free to ask if you have any questions for me at 50 Partners.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everybody. So my name is Maxime. I'm with Cassandre. This session is about public speaking across different contexts, of course, media's interviews, company pitches, and for your everyday professional situation where you need to speak clearly and confidently. We are going to try to be exhaustive and clear, of course. The goal is simple: to help you adapt your message, your structure, and your presence to the situation you're in, so you can be understood, credible, and impactful every time you speak. We'll start by presenting the key principles and tools, and at the end, we will take, of course, time for your questions if you have, and more than that, by email if you need some help. To start with the first slide, we just wanted to have a look on that. In public communication, not all elements have the same impact. By public communication, I don't mean speaking on a stage only. The moment you are more than two people in a conversation, it becomes public communication. And right now, even in a video call, this is public communication. And as soon as there's a phone or a computer, as today, that can record you, it's a public communication. In those situations, communication works on different levels. Roughly speaking, communication is 70% non-verbal. Your posture, your gesture, your eye contact, your presence. 20% is paraverbal. It's your voice, your tone, your rhythm, your pauses. And only 10% is verbal, the actual words you use. That's because people don't evaluate the quality of your ideas first, they evaluate you. And your body and your voice send instant signals of confidence and credibility. And in the delivery, if the delivery is weak, the message is questions. So if the delivery is strong, the content has space to be heard. And Kassan will explain you in a few minutes in all situations the 5 rules to know. And Kassan, it's your turn for the next
Yes,
one.
exactly. Because no matter the context, there are few fundamentals you have to apply and know in all situations. First, you have to listen to yourself. Listen, observe how you speak, and become aware of your own habits. Second rule, it's what we call the Mulliez principle. For the context, this principle comes from the management culture of the Mulliez group. This is the group behind brands like Auchan or Decathlon. In this culture, they think that the communication is based on 3 key rules: consistent respect for people, relational simplicity, and the belief that the quality of the relationship become performance. So there are operational rules designed to work in every complex human environment. The principle is simple. It's based on smile, say hello, listen, say goodbye, and say thank you. They are basic principles, but they create immediate trust and connection with people. Because smiling creates a form of safety. Saying hello acknowledges the other person. Listening shows respect. Saying goodbye closes the interaction properly. And saying thank you values the exchange. When they are present, this basic make the communication becomes easier, smoother, and even more effective. So always remember these 5 principles. Third rule, don't be afraid of silence. Silence might be the most important tool in your public communication because it gives importance to your words, it creates attention, and it forces people to listen to you. When you're speaking, the message does not disappear, but it lands. Then always have in mind to adapt your posture and your tone to the context, because your body should support your words and not contradict them. And finally, don't hesitate to play with your voice by pitch, speed, intonation, tone, because your voice, if you know it well, is one of your strongest tools in public communication.
Let's now apply these fundamentals to very specific context, interviews and speech, of course. When you are in an interview mode, like TV, radio, press, vox pop, or a presentation like now today, there are 4 key rules to remember: efficiency, relevance, credibility, and reference. And I'm going to explain 4 of them. First, efficiency. Speak only if you have something to say. Silence, as Cassandra stated before, is always better than a weak or unnecessary answer. It's very, very important to understand and remind this. Second, relevance. Don't answer the question, please. Deliver a message all the time. Your goal is not to react, but to be understood. Most of the people in a lot of situations, they never do this, and it's very, very important to try to stay focused and remind this very important role on your daily life when you are making an interview. Third, the credibility. What is the credibility? Support your message with data, facts, or concrete elements. This is what makes your message believable. As if you want to fight against fake news, for example. And more than that, on fourth, the reference. What is the reference? Please try to always illustrate your message with an example or an anecdote. Stories make message memorable, especially in media situations. So we don't care about, if you start with the third rule. So if you start with efficiency, relevance, credibility, or reference, you just need fourth of his rules. If you start before by the data, then the example, then the message, it's okay. We don't care about, the first you start, etc. But you have to remind this to be efficient, relevant, credible, and reference. It's very, very important. And it could make the difference for the next speech you will have to do. More than that, we have to apply these rules, and it's not always easy because when it's come to public speaking, there are a few recurring obstacles. Everyone faces them at different levels, depending on experience, context, and stakes. But they can all be managed. They don't disappear completely, but you can learn how to deal with them. I'm going to start with the most complex fear and move to the simplest one. The most complex one is the fear related to stakes. This happens when the outcome feels critical, a job interview, media exposure, or a pitch that could change everything. The pressure is high and the fear is proportional to what you think you could lose. Then comes the imposter syndrome. We all know it. The feeling that you are not legitimate enough, not expert enough, and that at some point people will realize it. And another common fear is the fear of being judged. Being judged on your ideas, your voice, your accent, or your presence. We really don't care about that, and we have to fight against it. And finally, the simplest one is fear of the unknown. Not knowing the context, the audience, or what will happen next. The good news is all of these fears can be worked on, reduced, and managed. So let's go to the other way around, starting with the simplest fear. Fear of the unknown disappears with preparation, of course. You need to know the context you're speaking in, who you're speaking to, the format, the timing, and the constraints. Then, fear of being judged is reduced when you shift the focus from yourself to your message. When your goal is to deliver value, judgments become secondary. Imposter syndrome is handled by grounding yourself in facts, your experience, your expertise, and what you actually know. You don't need to know everything, you just need to know what you're here to talk about. And good preparation will make it easier. And finally, fear relates to stakes. This one is the hardest, and it never fully disappears. You learn to deal with it by accepting the pressure and focusing on what you control, your message, your structure, and your delivery. It's impossible to completely eliminate these four fears. They are part of public communication, and what matters is not making them disappear, but learning how to manage them. When the fear is under control, it stops being an obstacle and it's become energy. Cassandra, thank you, for the speech specifically, I'll let you introduce it.
Yeah, thank you, Maxime. Maybe the situation you may be the most concerned about for the pitch. In the same way, there are many rules that make a massive difference. There are simple rules, but when you know it and when you integrate it in your way you're pitching, it can change everything. So first rule, start strong. The first seconds are critical in a pitch because what people remember most are the first 15 seconds and the last 15 seconds of your speech. That's all. So you need to have a real hook to start with, one strong sentence or one striking statistic. But this sentence can make people lean and think, okay, this matters, I will listen to him or her. Second rule, have a clear structure. In their society, we've tested many ways of structuring a pitch, and this structure, we think that's the better one. This is the method we use in our daily life because it creates a clear cause and effect logic. The structure is you start with a problem because without a clear problem, nothing else makes sense. You don't have something to resolve. Once the problem is clear, the audience naturally expects a solution, what you do to solve it. When the solution is understood, the next question is, okay, how big is this? So you move to the market. If the market is big enough, the next logical question becomes, how does this turn into a business? That's where the business model come in. Once the business model is clear, people want proof. That's why you show traction to demonstrate that it really works in reality. If it works, the question becomes, who is going to make this happen? That's when you introduce your team. And finally, once everything is credible, you end with growth ambition. It's where this can go far. Sorry, it's where this can go next and how far you want to take it. The whole process is not about saying more of that. It's about saying the right things in the right order. Because when the structure is clear and the delivery is strong, the audience does not have to think about what you want to say. They just follow you. And that is when a pitch becomes really and truly powerful. And finally, the third rule, please don't use jargon. Even your audience is technical, clarity always wins. Jargon creates distance with people when a clear language does the opposite because it builds trust, understanding, and instant credibility. So always have in mind subject, verb, object. If you can't explain your idea by it, that in that way, it's not clear enough. So always think subject, verb, object. Because clarity is not a simplification in a pitch, it's a real strength. So you have to know it, to use it every time you pitch.
Thanks, Cassandre. And when you speak to the media, the format completely changed the way you should communicate. In short format, like TV news or online videos, everything is condensed. So you need strong visuals, very clear messages, and memorable sound bites. There is no time to explain. You have to be immediately understandable. That is different in press interviews. The logic is completely different. Journalists are looking for angles, numbers, and quotes they can use directly. What you say needs to be precise, factual, and easy to extract. It's also different in a longer format like podcast or long interviews, where the storytelling becomes possible. This is where authenticity and expertise really matter. You can explain, give context, and build a narrative. And finally, in live or reactive formats, emotions plays a key role. Your ability to react, adapt, and stay clear under pressure for us makes a difference. No matter the format, journalists all expect the same core things: a clear and concise angle. They need to understand very quickly what the story is about and what it matters now. More checkable factual elements, it's just what we said before. Numbers, dates, facts, anything they can verify and trust. This is what makes your message usable. More than that, quotable sentence. Short, clear phrases that can stand on their own without explanation. It's very, very important too. And finally, authenticity. Journalists are trained to detect jargon and corporate language. So speaking simply and naturally builds credibility and for sure makes you a reliable source at the end.
Thank you, Maxime. No, we always think that it's great to explain you what happened to us under pressure, especially in a media or high-stakes speaking situation, to identify it and to be able to deal with it and over it. We think there are three main levels of tension. First, and the most important one, the emotional tension. It's related to what you feel inside. It can be when you speak in public. It can be fear, anger, insecurity, excitement, many emotions. Second one, there are relational tension. It's the tension related to the interaction with people, feeling challenged by the situation, feeling interrupted, judged, or even dominated by the audience. And the last one is the media-related tension in a mediatic context. It's created by the context itself, by the camera, the microphone, time pressure, the fact that it can be recorded and replayed. All these three levels of tension make us fall into stress reflexes. Most people go into escape in this situation of tension. That they try to answer quickly, they speak too fast, they avoid the question and they forget their main message. Other people go into justification. It's the opposite. They over-explain to justify themselves. They add too many details. They defend themselves instead of delivering their goal message. And finally, there is aggressiveness as a reflex. It's when people become sharp, defensive, combative. Even without realizing it, we have these reflexes in us because these stress reflexes are natural, but also the most dangerous one, because escape, justification, or aggressiveness are automatic reaction of our body and our mind, but in public or in media situation, they totally work against you and they serve you. This is why it must be identified and avoided for now by now. And this is where there are some grounding techniques that come in. First, just think to breathe. Slow down your body to slow down your mind so you can think more efficiency. Second one, do micro pauses when a journalist, for example, asks you a question. Just keep 2 seconds of silence to regain control and to choose your word, your great words. And some techniques is refocusing. As Maxime said before, always think to come back to one intention and to one thing to have in mind is what is my message, what I want to say, what is where I want to make people. And once you're grounded, you can apply a simple structure and have in mind the core message principle. Always think to give an idea, 3 justifications, and 1 opening. Because under stress, the structure is not optimal. So this principle is what keeps you clear. And if you have this in mind, it will always be understandable by the audience, no matter what is the audience.
So, and all of this is guided by a few core communication principles that we have at the society. These are what we call the 10 commandments of communication for us, and they are not rules to memorize, they are choices you make every time you speak. And the first one to understand is authenticity over perfection. Just to explain it, you don't need to be perfect to be credible. You need to be real, and people trust what feels honest. It's very, very important to focus on authenticity because you will never be perfect. It's impossible in any situation. More than that, when you are creating or developing a business as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, etc. These 10 commandments, if you have specific question on it, we can develop it one by one after this workshop, more than that by email, because it's the core strategy of your communication, more than only on your public speaking, but when you have a discussion, when you talk with someone about your business. The second one, Cassandra?
Yes, the second one is the fact that consistency goes over buzz, especially in a social media context. One strong moment does not build your credibility, but repeating a clear message over time does. You can create your credibility on one strong moment. It has to be longer over time.
value over promotion, it's to explain the idea. If every time you speak, you try to sell something, people disconnect. When you bring value, attentions follows naturally. And try to find some example on your daily business life to test it and to change the way you're speaking.
Then relationships comes over transaction. Even if your personal life communication is not a one-shot exchange. The communication, trust, and credibility is something you build interaction after interaction with people. So always think to deliver your message, but also tell other people message.
Between data and opinions in general, data always win. Opinions are easy to challenge, but facts make your message solid and defensible. And bring study and work with most of data you can. Because again, the fake news and to be credible with your business, it always makes the difference.
Then, as we said many times before, but we think it's really, really important to remember is clarity is more important than jargon. It's a simple commandment because if people don't understand what you say, your message simply does not exist because they are not able to understand you and what you want to say to them.
About the timing over the message. Even a good message fails if it comes at the wrong moment. Take the time to find the good time. It's very important to think about when you want to speak, why, how long, because it's not always the same if you're speaking on the morning, on the evening, on a TV, on a social media, in front of investors, partners, shareholders, stakeholders, clients, etc. So just try to take your time to say, okay, I'm gonna speak the next day, I'm gonna speak in 2 weeks, or I'm gonna say anything for the next 3 weeks because I have anything to say. So choose the best time and try to manage your team with it and learn them the importance of the time always over the message.
No, what about communicate on a multi-channel or single channel strategy? Maybe it's a question who can come really, really soon in your reflection, communication strategy reflection. But we think it's important to communicate in various channels because people rarely remember something the first time when repetition across different channels and different timing creates memorability. Sorry. So in your communication strategy, you really have to think about where you want to speak for what kind of messages and at what time. But we recommend you to communicate over multi-channels to gain a larger audience and to be sure that people will remember what you say to them.
And a visible CEO is always more important than a visible startup. I'm sorry to say that, but you all have to find the guy or the man or the woman in your company, the CEO, etc., who is going to endorse this mission. People connect with people before they connect with brands. Of course, the brand has big importance in the client relationship, but before that, people want to speak to make business with people. So think about who you want to be and who you want to represent for your brand, for your team, and for your stakeholders, of course. and you can understand it by asking question with your environment, clients, friends, etc. How they understand your action, how they understand what you're doing on your daily business life.
And last commandment, but not least, proof over instinct. Because what you can demonstrate will always be stronger than what you feel or believe. It can join the data over opinion principle, but it's not on the contrary of the authenticity. You can be authentic and demonstrate to support what you say. So every time think about bring proof to what you said.
But none of these works can be okay without practice. Everything we've covered only works if you're practicing day by day. The first exercise that we propose you to try is simple. Please record yourself, audio or video, for a maximum of 1 minute, 1 minute and 30 seconds, not to judge yourself, but to observe your voice, your rhythm, your posture. It's like to go to the sport club. If you practice and try to do this for 3 months, at the end, you will see the difference, and it will make a difference on your public speaking. Another powerful habit is reading a press article out loud every day. It trains clarity, confidence, and articulation. It's a very, very common basic exercise, but most of the people never do this. And after that, we can teach you and try to explain you a lot of rules, techniques, etc. If you don't practice by yourself, it's over. When it comes to pitching, practice as if you were talking to your son, your nephew, or a 5-year-old child. It's very important to be clear and understanding most of the time. If you can understand, your message is clear. And there is 2 ways to do it. The first one, you're just talking, for example, for 3 minutes, explaining your business, your activities. And you do it a second time, but when you do it again, the people, the child, can ask you all the question when he does not understand a word. Try to do the exercise and send us what happened by email. It's going to be funny. And normally, after doing this exercise many times, it's going to be okay. And between 2 stations on the subway, it's going to be okay for you to explain your ideas, your business, your project. And finally, read out loud alone or in groups with your team, with your colleagues, to break down words, work on dictions, intonations, articulation, and transitions. These are a simple exercise, but the key is consistency. You don't need long sessions or perfect conditions. What matters is practicing a little every day. 5 minutes done regularly is far more effective than 1 long session once in a while. And it's exactly the same what we do at the society to train CEOs with 50 partners, investors, etc. This is how confidence is built, through repetition, awareness, and habit. So, in a few words, public communication is about awareness, structure, and practice. When you understand how you communicate, when you control your message, and when you train regularly, you become clearer, more confident, and more impactful in any context. So thank you for your intention, of course. And before questions, we want to offer you something. So everyone who wants to talk about his public speaking, communication, we offer to everyone who send us an email 30 minutes to talk about your problem of the moment, about your communication, public speaking, training, etc. And we will be happy to help you as a Friends of 50 partners. So if you have question now or just what I say by email, don't hesitate. We are happy to help of course, even in English or in French. We are based in Paris, and we can move easily if you need help. Thank you so much. We have time, so we're open to help.
Thank you, Maxime and Cassandre. If you have any questions on Zoom or on Discord, I'm also on the Hack4Privacy Hackathon chat, so feel free to send any questions if you need. Yeah, because as you understood, some of you guys would potentially have to pitch your project in front of a big audience in a former cinema. So that's why we decided to organize this workshop. The floor is yours, guys. If you need any more information, if you have any questions, that's the time. Do we have questions, guys? Okay, maybe I have a questions. If you have to give one piece of advice for the three teams that will have to pitch in front of this audience, that have to keep in mind what would be your two or three big pieces of advice in one or two word, Maxime and Cassandra?
Yeah. Oh, how can I be clear? The first one is try to stay quiet and use silence. Even if you speak 3 minutes, 1 minute, use silence. Speak the last one in a meeting. Try to speak as the last one. Use silence. Be direct, straight on. Go for it. Don't try to be complicated or to explain something very difficult, etc. Subject, verbs, that's okay. And always speak only if you have something to share. Most of people, even CEOs, politics, etc., are talking to say anything. And it's okay if you speak just once on a month, but if you exactly know what you are saying to who in the good moment, the job is done.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Maxime. We have a question in the chat from
Yeah.
Thibaut. If we have to speak in front of this kind of audience, would you recommend to one or several speakers to
Very,
on the
yeah.
floor?
Very good questions. It depends. As for the clothes, if you like to wear a jacket on daily life, wear a jacket at the speech on stage. If you like to be in jogging, go in jogging. Be you, of course. Don't change anything about that. As McDonald's say, come who you are. But more than that, if you have one person on the company that endorse, the business, let him go. But if you are okay with 2 or 3 people, there is no problem about that. The thing that is very, very important when you are 2 or 3 people or more than that, it's to be very fluid, when you speak. For example, one of the good exercises what we do when we are training people together, for example, 2 or 3 co-founders, we close our eyes when they are speaking, and normally we cannot realize or hear that it's another voice. We understand it's another voice because they don't have the same voice, but it's so fluid that it's like just one conversation. I don't know if I'm clear about that, but the idea is it looks so natural, but it needs training if you are 2 or 3 people. Most of the time, one it's better because it's easier to train, of course. But if you want to, it's possible. Just need to practice.
Okay, thanks for this answer, Maxime. I have another question on my side because before this potential speech in front of this big audience, hackers would have to upload a video presenting and pitching their project. What can be also your two or three biggest pieces of advice to be impactful in this format before maybe to be selected as a winner of this hackathon?
Choose one message and repeat it. Communication, it's one action word repetition all the time, most of the time, and one message, and try to be quoted with this message. And when people go home at night, they say, "Oh, okay, very interesting, Richard, very interesting, Martin. He said this, only this." Don't try to be complex or look too smart. We don't care about that. Stay simple.
Okay, thanks, Maxime. Do you have any more question? Yeah, from Martin. Do we need to have a perfect English to pitch in front of a VC? For you, Maxime.
Do you think my English is perfect? Not at all, but I don't care. Because at the end, normally you understand what we just say with Cassandra. So go for it.
Yeah,
People like people who try to speak, who try to do things. You entrepreneurs, you take your risk. So go for it.
that's why your company is called Their Society, I
Of
guess.
course. It's exactly, I cannot say anything more. There.
Okay, thanks, Maxine, for listening. So, do you have any more questions on the Zoom or on the Discord? Do not hesitate to ask questions who have some minutes remaining. Martin from IXEC, do you want to add something on this hackathon or not?
Yeah, sure. I've got a last question. I'm always asking myself if my English is good enough, and I'm starting training with OpenAI. You know, you can open a chat with AI chat, and if I can give an advice, I don't know if you agree with me, but it helps me a lot. Like sometime I take 30 minutes just chatting with about anything with the voice mode of OpenAI, and it's pretty cool because you can't train your accent, but you can ask him to correct your vocabulary or everything.
Go for it.
Yeah,
That's a very good exercise. Cassandra, we can add it, I think, on recommendations. No, but a very good one. I'm okay with you. I completely agree.
Yeah, so great presentation with a lot of advice, and which make me realize that I still have a lot of work to improve my pitch. So thanks a lot. And about the hackathon, what a better way to start 2026 with a hackathon with 50 partners. We are really happy about it. We start to have a lot of builders joining this event, and amazing workshops this week with their society and other partners. So that's really good. And as you said, if you need any advice from 50 partners, their society, technical advice from IXEC, feel free. And the last advice I will give, it's don't stay alone when you have a question, when you doubt about something, like when you need advice about how I can pitch. Like Richard said, like the video is really important because we might display it on stage. So and it's not easy to record a good video. So feel free to ask advice, which software you can use, maybe which kind of light you can add if you want to make something a background a bit shiny and cool. So yeah, thanks a lot for your meeting, and cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. Three
Thank
words.
you. Yeah.
Three words to remind: ask, dare, and share. Definitely in public speaking.
Thanks for that, Maxime and Cassandre, and thanks for this very impactful conclusion. Hackers builders, feel free to send us messages if you have any questions. As Martin said, do not also forget to register on the Dora hacks because you're many on Luma, you're many as well on Dora hacks, but we don't want you to stay far from this organization, and you have to register on Dora hacks. So do not forget to register on it. If we don't have any more question, I will check, but I think we're good. Thanks a lot, Maxime and Cassandre, for this workshop. If some of our hackers have some questions, we'll send it to you. And the next workshop is on Friday. Is an Ask Me Anything with one of our partners, an experienced entrepreneur, who is Adrien Faguet, ex-Ledger and co-founder of Junction and Stack Lab. That will be the occasion to ask any question you can have to an experienced entrepreneurs about the journey, about the difficulties, about all the steps and all the changes the entrepreneurs and hackers may face. So we hope it will interest you, and we let's meet on Friday again. Cassandre, Maxime, thank you, and let's meet on Friday for the next workshop. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Thank you
trust.
for
Bye-bye.
the opportunity.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.